All right, let's shift our focus from the federal level here to local politics around the homeless crisis. Portland City Councilor Candace Avalos of District 1 out in East Portland recently introduced what she's calling her unified housing strategy. Okay, she believes there are too many different plans addressing homelessness created by different people with different financial agreements between different government partners, and she's saying it's all getting way too confusing. Her proposed strategy would take the best of all the city's plans and create a single roadmap. Okay, joining me live now to talk about this strategy is Councilor Candace Avalos, who also chairs the Council's Homelessness and Housing Committee. Councilor Avalos, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Okay, let's dive in. When you say there are all these different plans and funding partnerships to address homelessness in Portland, I don't think you're alone in feeling that way, but walk me through what you're seeing from inside City Hall and how your proposed strategy would simplify things.
Absolutely. So, as the Housing and Homelessness Committee Chair, I have met with dozens of stakeholders, both inside and outside of City Hall, and they all say the same thing. The city lacks a unified vision. We have these scattered efforts, siloed plans, but no real common theory of change. And so, what I'm introducing with the unified housing strategy is clarity. What is Portland's role? What is not our role? How do we move from crisis to housing stability? And this should help us lead where we should be leading, which is housing production, and also partner better with the county and Metro. I think, as you described in the intro, there's a lot of confusion that stems from overlapping responsibilities. And so I'm hoping that this unified housing strategy will fix that.
So when we talk about homelessness in Portland, what do you think is working that the city should keep doing and what should stop or change?
Yeah, I think right now, the biggest thing that is not working is our lack of clarity on what our role is. We have this IGA or intergovernmental agreement with the county. The county's responsibility is the work of shelters and homelessness and social work, kind of things. Whereas the city's book of business is infrastructure. We need to build the housing that folks that are going to be leaving shelters and hopefully on their path to stability, but they're not going to be able to get there if we don't have somewhere for them to land. So I think what's most important right now for me is that we are focusing on the entire shelter to housing continuum so that we can continue to move people forward in that continuum.
What do you think of the mayor's plan to address homelessness? We know he's focused on opening emergency shelter beds and day centers. Do you support that approach?
Plan right now really focuses a lot on overnight shelter, but what a lot of folks are asking is what happens during the day, right? And what is the path to housing? So I think that disconnect is exactly why we need this unified housing strategy. Portlanders are tired of seeing disjointed efforts and little progress, and they deserve better, and that's what I'm fighting for.
One of the big shortfalls of, say, any current homeless plan is really tracking outcomes. Under your strategy, what would that piece look like?
Yeah, this is not just another plan, right? This is a roadmap to align the good work that already exists that many people in the city have been doing over the years. So this is setting some metrics, timelines for building housing, advancing zoning reform, and delivering real results. And it also helps us to be bold, like exploring social housing, which we talked about a few months ago, and other new models that are working elsewhere. So this is about coordination, efficiency, and impact, and for us to stop spinning our wheels so that we can start delivering.
Let's talk about Portland's permitting system. We know it's often a barrier for developers. What do you think needs to change when it comes to permitting to build more housing?
Yeah, on permitting, honestly, some of it is really simple. We want more housing and we need to speed up how we approve it. A lot of what I've heard from developers over the last few months is that those stalls cost dollars, right? The longer that a process takes, these are dollars that keep adding up. And then if those dollars add up and the project no longer pencils, then, a developer is going to abandon that idea. And so we need to better streamline this, make sure that we can get people through the system a lot quicker, and have the metrics that we need to help the city focus on not just how much housing that we can build, but also who we're building it for. That's a really important part of this to me.
And your plan points to improving housing stability for people of color and single moms. How do you plan to do that?
Well, it's important that we follow the data, right? The Portland Housing Bureau has a lot of data that shows that people of color, single moms, seniors, they have the least access to affordable housing. And so, really trying to prioritize these groups because they're most at risk for becoming homeless or staying stuck in it. And so, that's really the key around all of this is that we need to have metrics and data that we can measure, and that way we can deliver on that exactly.
And what do you have to say to people who hear about your housing strategy and say it's just more planning, more talking, not enough action?
I understand, and I know that it's really hard for folks to adjust to that we have a brand new form of government. We've got all these new people, and we have all these big ideas, and we're trying to get our ducks in a row. And I think this is one way for us to do that, especially because we changed the form of government, right? Now we have this executive branch, we have a legislative branch, and a lot of what this UHS is trying to do is to de-silo the work. Just because, we aligned all of our work technically via the org chart and via the charter, that takes, intentional work with the employees, with the leaders to actually see all of those things come into alignment. So I understand that people are frustrated with, the larger feeling that we have plans that we can't execute on, but that is exactly what I am trying to stop that cycle of, is to take all of these plans that are sitting on PDFs that people are doing some work on and they've advanced some of those objectives, but putting them in one place, resetting, realigning what's our theory of change, what do we have capacity to do, what do we want to do, and then put that into actual outcomes.
Okay, Councilor Avalos, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So talk to us. What do you think about the councilor's plan? Do you support it? Why or why not? Email us the story at kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail 503-226-5090.